everybody, Brandon Jones here. Welcome to GT Live. The game that we are playing, or we are attempting to play, is Splatoon. Ben's got his hood up. He's playing Splatoon. He's very serious right now.
Serious business.
He's like little Mac training in the Splatoon Olympics right now.
I just realized that the controls were inverted, so
that's
I
right.
gotta change some things.
This is going to be an inverted stream from Ben Moore. We're going to be playing Splatoon, which of course came out, which Ben Moore reviewed for us. Bloodworth is already bored with GT Live. He's checking on his phone.
But I'm talking to chat.
He will be playing a little bit more in the stream.
They're talking. They see me. I'm talking to them.
We're giving away a very peculiar code, ladies and gentlemen, for a game called Carnivores Dinosaur Hunter Reborn. So Carnivores Dinosaur Hunter didn't sound like a fun enough game. This is Reborn. This, according to Mr. Matt Blair, is an old game that is now given new life, Mr. Blair? This is true?
Yes.
The Dinosaur Hunter was an old game, and now Carnivores is the remake?
A remake of a game from 15 years ago.
A remake of a game from 15 years ago. Killing dinosaurs is so hot on Steam right now. You got Ark Survival Evolved, which you can tame dinosaurs. But we're giving away 2 codes for this game, which is just recently on Steam. Mr. Kyle Bosman will be in chat, and he will be giving out those codes. So if you have really good questions for our guests, by the end of the episode, hopefully you'll get one of those codes. So be nice to Kyle. And speaking of our guests, Miss America Young and Miss Amanda Troop, both voice actors and performers of various things. You've been on camera and off camera. You do a little bit more of the punchy than you do.
Punchy,
you
hitty
do
stuff.
Yeah, you do punchy, hitty stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe we should start with the punchy, hitty stuff. When was the last time you did some punchy, hitty stuff that you can talk about?
I just did some punchy, hitty stuff in December, but I just realized I don't think I can talk about that one. But it's a really good title. It's a big one. They've announced that it's out. I'm just not allowed to say I worked on it yet.
Okay, so just to set the scene for, because this is a video game show, so we got video game fans at home that are like, okay, Amanda Troop, they might be familiar with you. Amanda's my wife. She's been on streams before, and she's wonderful.
Very wonderful.
Playing some Disney Infinity and whatnot. You've snuck into a couple videos doing voiceover
honestly,
over the years.
I'm just here to talk about Game of Thrones and Hearthstone. So.
Well, I know Hearthstone's applicable, and Game of Thrones is applicable because we got the adventure game, which you and I need to catch up on. But if you are unfamiliar with them, America Young has been in the following video games: Saints Row 4, Saints Row the Third, Dead Space 2, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. Very familiar with the Marvel Universe in various forms, in print and video. You were Wendy in the Tinkerbell movie. And you apparently have been in a large amount of Monster High movies.
Lots of Monster High stuff,
Which isn't a video game, but I was just going through IMDb page. I'm just like, Monster High all over the place.
Yeah, it's fun to be paid to be a teenager all over again.
And, you know, it's fun. Amanda, you speak to this because you've been in projects. You've been in a radio show that's been around forever. To play a character consistently and be given new scripts and stuff like that.
Oh, it's so much fun. And it's so much fun when they let the character evolve, and you always know, like, what you can count on your character to be doing. And they've done so many amazing scripts with the Monster High thing. I mean, the most ridiculous things have happened to our characters. We've been merged together. We've been turned into... Oh, wait, I can't say that. There's been a lot of fun stuff that we've done, so I've loved it.
And I haven't seen any of these, but I'm going to go on a limb here that it's monsters going to high school.
Yeah, it's the teenage daughters of all the famous monsters.
Oh, okay, so it's all women specifically.
Well, there are males at this high school as well, but the prominent male characters,
cool.
Which is really fun because it's like, you know, your freaky flaws are what make you fabulous, which I like, as opposed to some of the other dolls out there where it's like you have to look like that.
Is that the official catchphrase?
I think it is.
The freaky flaws make you fabulous?
Yeah,
it's really good.
Yeah, it's not fun.
If it's not the official catchphrase, you should tell them.
Trademark.
So if you guys haven't recognized at home, you guys are friends.
Yeah.
We've hung out before, America. You guys have actually been on a podcast, been on a weekly show together for Comediva called The Banff Girls Club.
Oh, yeah.
Which, if any of you guys have not seen this, it's a fantastic, not only you guys are amazing on the show, but it's a really great concept for a show.
Fun idea.
So it's a lot of famous literary female heroines that live in a house together and have to, it's basically like real world with all of the badass women that you know from fiction.
And Bella.
And Bella.
And
Right.
from Twilight.
You play Katniss, who's rocking. You play Hermione Granger, Amanda, who unfortunately her film career is over. There is still some stuff going on in the Harry Potter universe, but Hermione is no longer being cast in film, where Katniss still has a couple more movies in her.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But, I mean, Hermione, she's not going anywhere. I think that J.K. will probably have something up her sleeve. Hopefully. Maybe an origin story. I would go for that.
But so
that would be a good story.
Good. Yeah. Like Hermione's life before She gets her magical powers, like her coming of age story before, like with her parents as dentists, what school is like for her.
JK,
before.
are you listening? Please do that.
So you wanted to talk about Hearthstone and Game of Thrones and Harry Potter.
I
Just for reference.
think that I don't have to say that I want to talk about Harry Potter.
That's a given.
It just happens.
That's just a thing.
And you're wearing a Star Trek shirt, and we're playing Splatoon, so there's just all sorts of crazy things going on, and we're giving away a code for a game with dinosaurs in it. Amanda, you have been in WildStar, Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13, which nobody holds against you, Ninja Gaiden 3,
Well,
which
I was a Moogle.
you were a Moogle.
I mean, it doesn't
I tried
matter.
to find
I mean,
you, dear.
Well,
I tried valiantly.
I'm in the woods,
Right.
and there's a part where you can throw me. And
Okay.
I had a whole session where I did a Moogle that's being chucked through the air.
I vividly remember this.
Do you really?
I do. I remember throwing the Moogle. That
You
was
probably
awesome.
threw me.
Yeah. That was a good part of that game.
And I had to like do this very high pitched sound of me like falling away.
Yep.
Moogle voice.
I love the band like almost removes the hood. Like, wait a minute.
It was close. He almost had head removal.
You've been in. You've played Ryu's. Like secretary, not secretary, but like someone
No.
who's like fights with Ryu. What
I
was her name?
believe I was Irene
The
Liu
blonde?
in
Irene from the,
Dead
Ninja
or
Gaiden
Alive
3
games.
and Dead or Alive
yeah.
Dimensions.
And I think I was a scientist, but I was very sexy.
You're a very sexy scientist.
Well, obviously.
My skirt was super short.
In the game.
In the game.
The digital version of you.
In real life, I was probably wearing pants.
Your voice was sexy as well. You were in Rage.
Mm-hmm.
You were the second character you meet in Rage, which actually a lot of people have been talking about because we got a debut of Fallout 4 this morning. So a lot of people have been talking about the post-apocalyptic shooter genre. You were in Crackdown 2, which I loved because I got to murder you in all sorts of fun different ways. You were the other mother in the Coraline video game of the animated film. And your first video game ever, do you remember?
Oh, yeah. Shrek the Third.
Shrek the
video
Third.
I actually
game.
knew that trivia.
You were like Cinderella for 5 seconds.
Yeah, and I was in the prison cell, and I think all I had to say
You were
was,
like a little.
I had to say, like,
Gotta
gotta
clean,
clean,
gotta
gotta clean. Thank you.
So both of you guys have done animation. You guys have done stuff for television and film and video games. We asked this. We had Dave Finno and Kip Vanderheuvel on the show earlier, and I
He
can't
told
help.
me I was supposed to bring you snacks. Kif did, and I'm so sorry that I didn't.
I ran to the kitchen here, and I
you
just
did.
chucked this candy on the table as an
Okay.
offering.
Okay, good.
So I think we're covered.
I think maybe the rules are before the stream starts. If you brought snacks, it'll qualify as long as they're on the table. It's really we had one guest and she brought snacks.
Oh,
and
she
then,
did. Okay.
And then
he
Kif came in and brought snacks.
He was like, make sure you bring Brandon snacks. So I was
not-
actually a little
It's
worried.
only an hour show. If it was
Okay.
a 2-hour show, I might need sustenance
Okay.
halfway through. But so I'm curious if you guys, if you have really any preference towards film or video games, because obviously video games are weird because you are recording lots of things that like maybe the player won't experience. They might not get to this conversation. Witcher 3 just came out. There's all sorts of variants you can take the story that people might not experience. You have to do all these death sounds and all this stuff. Versus a film or something in animation where you have a very strict script. You can really get into the character and know how the narrative is going to flow. Do you prefer one or the other, or are they both fun?
They're both so much fun, and they both have their advantages and disadvantages. Like in a film, you know exactly what's going to happen, and you can kind of prep yourself for that. Film, the hours are a little bit there's a lot more sitting around and waiting. There's a lot more. And there's also they're not as big anymore as video games, which is the kind of downside. But video games, you get to have like 3 different storylines, 5 different storylines with your character. So it's kind of like what you were saying about doing something like a Monster High, where you're doing it for a long time. You get such a variety of your character. You get to know what would happen if your character died, if it didn't die, if it won. And I love that. And in motion capture specifically, you're nonstop the entire day, because it's all the scenes are comprised, and you don't have to worry about lights and camera and wardrobe and makeup or anything. You're just plowing through those scenes, and it's more fun. It keeps your momentum going. The days, it's such a fun trade-off. Like, what do you think?
I think they're very different. I mean, like you said, when you're doing a video game, a lot of times you don't even get the other lines. You just get pages and pages of your lines, and so you get to just do the whole journey in 4 hours. Whereas in a film, it can be a little bit different. And in a video game, you're sort of you're participating in storytelling with the player. Not actively, but you're not watching people watch your movie usually either. But still, there's something neat about knowing I'm gonna say this and I'm going to say 2 different versions of this line, and that player is going to pick one, and that's going to change her experience playing the game.
Yeah, that's
and I
really
think
cool.
I think that's really cool. So, but no, I mean they're both great, and acting in a film can be a lot more immersive, especially if you're acting with another actor. It depends on if it's voiceover or film, and it depends on how they run the session. If you actually get to work with actors in the room, or if you're by yourself.
That's true, because
Yeah.
in video game world, whether you're doing voiceover or motion capture, you have the other actors for motion capture, but you don't have the world. So they'll hand you like a cardboard box, and they'll be like, "This is the treasure." Pretend, and you get like a stick, and they're like, "This is your AK-47." Same thing with voiceover. It's all in your head, and that's kind of really fun, because you're creating the entire world in your head, and they'll show you some pictures. When film, it is much more immersive, and you're in the world on camera.
Yeah.
And they've built it for you, and you have the wardrobes, and you have each other. So it's different challenges and different muscles you're stretching.
So we're talking about all sorts of different kinds of medium, but we were talking about combat a little bit earlier, America. You've
Yeah.
done mocap. I was looking for an image to put to let people know that you're going to be on GT Live tonight. I found a great one with just you and the dots like all over your face. I was like, oh, that's
Yeah.
perfect. I should
Yeah.
just grab that one.
Yeah.
So what kind of projects have you done with that before, and what kind of tools can you bring to that? Is
I
that
actually
difficult?
just did the count. I've done over 30 games at this point, doing motion capture on
Wow.
them. Sometimes I do voiceover on them also, but just solely for mocap, it's over 30 games. And
That's amazing.
the ones that have just come out recently that are super fun are Evolve and Sunset Overdrive are ones I worked on. And it's just been an amazing experience, and I've worked with just the coolest people.
So how does one get into that? What was your first gig, and how did you when you got one of those mocap gigs, did it immediately roll into another one, or was that
Kind
kind of
of.
tough to get into?
Yeah, I was doing stunts on a film, and the stunt coordinator on the film was casting this video game, so he had me come out. And the thing that I have found with motion capture is that you need to be able to be physical, but it's usually people who have some sort of a theatrical training, because they know how to perform with their bodies. So that one was, what was my first game? Spider-Man. Black versus red or something, and
We got to get this. What is it? Spider-Man Black, or is it black or white, or was it?
it was when
Friend or
it's
foe?
when he's got
Friend or
venom.
foe?
When he gets venom.
Yeah, it's when
The
the
symbiote.
symbiote's all over the city.
Yeah.
I think
Jeez, Chat will let us know.
Black versus
Chat will
red
just
or
scream that at us
something.
in about
Friend or
30
foe.
seconds.
And so that was the first time I worked on it. So I got to be Black Cat. I got to be Mary Jane. That was just incredible. And so it was at that point it was a much smaller world, and not many people were working on it. So then people would just keep calling you, because once they know you and they've worked with you, they'll just keep calling you. So you still audition for stuff sometimes, but a lot of times I just get the call and say, "Are you available tomorrow or available next week?" So
And I imagine you can have maybe a little bit more range, because it literally is just your body, so it's like it doesn't really matter what ethnicity I'm playing or age or something like that, whereas for on camera it matters a lot, and maybe
Yeah.
the happy medium there is voiceover, where you get like a little more breathing room to. You recently just played a very old woman in Batman
yeah.
Unlimited
Talk
Animal
about that.
Instincts,
Talk about that.
which is now available for download on DVD.
It is, and you can get it as a Blu-ray disc if you are so inclined. That was cool. I got a call from Wes Gleason, who's a fabulous voiceover director, and he was like, "Hey, question: can you do a Maggie Smith impression, like from Downton Abbey?" And I said, "I think so. Let me send you a take." And so I went home. I was in a play at the time, and I went home and I recorded it. And he said, "Yes, you can do it." So he had me come in for that, and it was really a cool experience to be in a Batman movie.
You're part of the Batman canon. I mean,
it's a happy thought.
Yeah.
It makes me very happy.
love it.
So yeah, it was cool. It was a cool experience. And working with the amazing talent that they had on the film was just. I walked in and I was like, oh man, oh my gosh, this is cool.
oh my gosh.
I'm cool by association.
And was there a couple of them, or no?
Yes.
Okay, never mind.
Just to take it back, to go time travel back 5 minutes ago, Spider-Man Web of Shadows.
Web of Shadows. That's it.
Bum,
Thank
bum,
you,
ba-dum.
interweb.
So really quick before we go on to talk about the game that we're playing, people were really disappointed that I did not talk to our TriCaster operator and general producer of the show, Mr. Ian Hinck.
Hi.
See, he's got his own little camera and his own little microphone in there. And I
true.
was so caught up in the guest and the proceedings last week that I totally skipped him. And I was like, nobody noticed that. And people in comments were like, wow, I wonder if Ian's going to get the cold shoulder again this week.
Poor Ian.
I thought it was intentional.
So look at that. He brought the camera, he's got the mic, and he dropped his lower third. Look at that. That's professional.
It's fun.
So what do you think of having voice actors on the show? Do you like voice actors, Ian?
It's great because they have good mic technique.
This is true. And they're not on GT time. We got the headphones on, but yeah, when we got the voice people, like they're very considerate. I noticed when you were
That's the
talking
best
about
you've
Batman,
sounded all show.
you had a very
Your
sexy voice
posture
going on,
changed
Amanda.
when you were talking
Oh.
about being Maggie Smith.
Well, that's fun.
There was like a transformation that happened.
Yeah. Well, do you do that when you're doing characters, like change your
Yeah,
body
you
shape?
kind of have to.
You have to.
Yeah, and certain
Yeah.
accents come out of different parts of your face. You know.
Yeah.
Did you
Um,
say what is a weekend ever? That's my favorite Maggie Smith line from Down Heavy. What is a weekend?
is a weekend?
Yeah.
I like where they installed light bulbs in a Downton Abbey, and she like freaks out.
Yeah.
Right. It's
Oh,
the end
yeah.
of the world.
So do you guys play them video games?
Some.
Some, a little bit.
Yeah, I'm much more old school. I went to an arcade opening of like the largest private collection of arcades on Sunday, and it was
That's cool.
amazing because it was all the games that I used to play. But I haven't, other than like Sunset Overdrive, I've played recently. I haven't played that many recently.
And you, Amanda, play Hearthstone religiously. Hearthstone, or as we like to call it, breakfast.
Yeah, I don't know about religiously, but yeah, like I was thinking, oh, we've been playing Hearthstone for like over a year. That's kind of a scary thought. I don't know. Sometimes I think that Hearthstone is a thing that will ruin part of my life because
Unless you get cast in it.
because like I'll have these times where I'm like, I just want to play Hearthstone for a little bit. I'll work on my goals and aspirations later. And then I would just play one more game and then one more, and then I'm like, oh, oops, now it's time to walk the dog and leave for something and not do anything. So, you know, but no, I like Hearthstone.
I can walk the dog and play Hearthstone at the same time. I've done it.
I would argue that you're not exactly walking her when you're
I'm
playing.
either giving her a bad walk or I'm playing bad Hearthstone.
She's walking you.
Yeah, she's walking you, and basically it's this thing that she does at night where she has to smell everything for 5 minutes, and so Brandon will just go out there,
Hey, fine.
and he'll be gone for like 30 minutes playing Hearthstone.
So really quick, we'll get to you, man.
Okay.
I'm not ignoring you.
I'm having fun.
What do you think of this kooky game behind me right now? Splatoon. It just came out on the Wii U.
It looks like fun.
You've gotten down with the Wii U controller, Amanda. You kick my butt at Mario Kart every now and then. So
And we played
you're comfortable on the
Mario
platform.
3D World. That was
Right.
fun.
You played some
And
Captain
some
Toad
Captain
Treasure Tracker.
Toad Treasure Tracker. And yeah, I like it. But it took a little at first when you gave it to me for Christmas, I was trying to use that controller and I was looking at it and looking at the TV, and all of a sudden I had the thought, uh-oh, I'm too old. I can't use this. This is too hard. I can't understand it. I've aged out of video games. And then I got it, and
And you went backwards in time.
I went backwards in time. I'm like, I'm 15.
Well, if you feel old with the motion controls, we all hate the motion controls, so you shouldn't
No,
use those in
I
this
think
game.
I'm okay with those now.
They try to force you into using them, but
You don't have to use them.
you shouldn't do it.
No.
So the reason why Mr. Matt Blair has come up and is so patiently waiting for us to chat with him is my wife knows this because she's watched a bunch of GT Lives, but so we do a countdown every week, America, on Fridays.
Okay.
And we have a segment on GT Live called Number 11 where we talk about the sad entry that did not make our top 10 list for the week. I don't know if you are familiar with Konami, the people who make Metal Gear and Castlevania and all sorts of fun franchises.
Up, down, down, left.
Exactly. There you go. And they've done some really weird things lately. There's been lots of inner turmoil between them and some of their cherished developers. Some of their franchises are a little iffy right now. Some of they've actively canceled. And so we've just been talking about Konami so much, we decided to do the top 10 Konami, not games, but franchises.
Okay.
And unfortunately, Pro Evolution Soccer did not make the list.
Not enough.
Which I don't know how much the two of you can say on Pro Evolution Soccer. The reason Matt Blair is up here is because there's not much I can say about Pro Evolution Soccer, also known as Winning 11. It seems like a horrible thing to omit from a countdown talking about Konami franchises because it is one of the most prolific franchises at Konami. I recently, checked the game out, and so it's something that I should be talking about. But we don't have lots of sports fans here at Game Trailers, with the exception of Mr. Matt Blair.
Hello.
Who likes them sports? How does it feel to be the guy at Game Trailers who is into sports?
A little surreal because we actually, back in the day, we used to have plenty of conversations about, NHL and stuff around the office, and kind of the only one left now.
We had an editor who is one of the top NHL players in the world of that franchise. like at the end of every day, like an hour before the end of his workday, he would like pop in 360 and play NHL
Aaron.
and compete.
Yep.
And I just like jokingly said one time, I'm like, how good are you at this? And he was like, number 7. He's like, yeah, it's like the top 10 in the world. Like, oh, well then keep playing. Like, who am I to tell you to stop?
I believe it. But he played as the whole team, though. That's kind of cheating.
Oh,
Playing as one position.
Oh, okay.
No, that's a challenge.
okay.
Sorry, no.
Have you
Don't
played
need to
the-
rant
have you-
about that.
Have you ever played the mode where every player is someone online?
That's the only one I play.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool if you think about technology
Yeah.
and how it's come in sports
Yeah.
games, that like every single player on the ice.
Aren't they giving college scholarships out now to people who play?
I don't remember who exactly did that, but yes, there was something about like a competitive tournament where people could either earn their way in, and like it's one of those things where you don't actually win it, but you earn a chance, and then they'll review you and see if they want to give you a scholarship.
For
Something
video
like that.
games or actual hockey?
No, for
No.
video games. They
Yeah.
were talking about it on the radio that they were giving out scholarships to people
And-
who were varsity video game players.
Yes,
cool.
and they're like actual programs now
that
for like
amazing?
college
That's
teams in
amazing.
gaming.
That's amazing.
And I think that's kind of led by Korea. I'm pretty confident that you might have some degree surrounding StarCraft in Korea. You know, and with how much money that industry makes them over there, it's only a matter of time before it happens here. Anyway,
I feel like Brandon's thinking,
man.
if only this had existed when I was in high school.
Yeah,
Oh,
Right.
that just happens every decade. Yeah, it's like, I mean, and the thing that I was fortunate to learn, you know, that I'm sure, you know, people 10 years before me were like, what you're doing was nonlinear editing. That was my big thing in
Yeah,
college,
yeah,
was
yeah.
like digital editing. And like all my other friends were like actual cut and splice film editors
Right.
working on 35 millimeter. And here I'm like, I got tapes, like, haha, tapes. So yeah, it happens every decade where you have
Yeah.
like that new thing, that new tech. And now we have, you know, one of our guests was Tracy Fullerton from USC, who like teaches kids how to make video games, how to succeed in the industry, how to get out
cool.
there, you know, make good projects, get your
And
art.
and she founded the first video game program, right? The first degree.
I believe so.
you
Yeah,
could get
it's definitely the most
USC,
renowned
yeah.
video game program
It's
in
really
the
cool.
U.S. But specifically, I just want to apologize for our viewers at home and just point out that when you get a group of people together editorially to talk about video games, you can't really cover every single game. Like you're not. I mean, that's like the goal. Like you want to bring as many diverse people as you possibly can.
Sure.
But there's just going to be some franchises that, you know, if Kyle Bosman wasn't on our team, you know, Pokemon probably wouldn't get as much street cred as it does.
very true.
It just wouldn't happen. We would still talk about Pokemon, but not as much as we do now.
All right.
You know, we probably wouldn't talk about the Grand Theft Auto series as much as we do, or Disney Infinity if I wasn't on the team. You know,
True.
so everyone brings a personality, they bring their likes and their tastes, and they bring them to the countdown, which is why we call it the GT countdown. This isn't like the official video game countdown.
Right.
So as far as the staff of GameTrailers.com is concerned, these were our top 10 Konami franchises.
Yep.
Have you ever played Pro Evolution Soccer?
Yes, I played a couple of them. Not a whole. I'm a EA guy because of NHL, and they've kind of held the ticket there. So I played some FIFA now and then. But I actually played it for the last review that we did, and it's actually very impressive. They've come a long way in the past few years. They actually, fun fact, made the last one on the Fox engine, which is what Metal Gear is famous for inventing. And it's just kind of interesting to take the actual engine that is built for action, adventure, shooting, and all that stuff, and they made a soccer game out of it, and it looks pretty good. Most people, especially Europe, of course, they're going to love soccer or football as they know it. But this was the year that PES kind of took the title in terms of best graphics. And so, I recognize that a lot of people love the game, but unfortunately, I didn't have enough pull. Number 11, so it sits.
I didn't intentionally bring up sports to like exclude you guys from the
That's okay.
conversation. I just want you to know.
There's
Absolutely.
I
It
don't
is the
think,
countdown we're doing this week. It is a number 11.
Brandon,
it just worked
I
out that way.
don't believe that by bringing up sports that was an exclusionary thing. We could have been really into sports.
Yeah, we could have been.
I think,
I mean,
as you'll
I'm
recall,
not, but-
I was really good at the Quidditch video game.
That's true, but that's a fictional sport.
No, it's not.
And it's actually not. Speaking of college,
They're elite.
Yeah.
and many colleges throughout America
And I mean,
and the world.
What's fictional? It's in a video game, so it's like it's all fictional.
Right,
It's still a sports game, right?
I try to find that line every day, and it blurs.
What about Duck Hunter?
A duck hunt, you mean?
Yeah, that one.
Right. Carnivores, duck hunters. I believe the codes were. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
So just really quick before we
Yeah.
wrap the sports conversation. So there are some franchises like Madden that just like they own football now, and then there's other sports like soccer or football, and basketball that have two competing franchises, maybe that aren't making games every single year.
Yeah.
And the big thing when Madden bought the NFL and everyone was so upset because it's like, oh, we're not going to get competition anymore. Well, we do get competition in basketball games and in soccer games. Does that help?
Apparently not.
Yeah, it doesn't
No,
seem like it seems like FIFA just destroys winning 11 every year.
There's just not enough people out there that are going to buy both sports games, or there are not enough people out there that are going to have allegiance to one or the other, really. I mean, people will have their opinions, and some will be legitimately better than others for various reasons or whatever, but there's just not enough. Maybe it's because there's no competition for the last 10 years in most sports, but licensing is still an issue. PES has some teams that FIFA doesn't, or the other way around mostly. And they'll just try to go grab another league because maybe that exists and they're fans of it or whatever. But almost every sport is locked down at this point. And yeah, no competition is usually not the greatest thing in the world, but
hasn't really helped sports.
No.
FIFA's got ladies this year. Women teams coming to FIFA for the first time, which they have to advertise because it's the new thing, but it seems like a no-brainer. You're duh.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Mr. Blair. Just want to remind everybody we're giving away codes for Carnivore's Dinosaur Hunter Reborn. You can put those 4 words in any order.
Carnivores.
What's so funny, Kyle? Mr. Kyle Bosman's in chat, cracking himself up. So you can give questions for Amanda Troop and America Young that they will answer at the end of the show and direct them for Mr. Kyle Bosman. And how's everybody doing in chat? Are they on their best behavior?
Yeah, we're doing great over here.
So if you want to grab one of these codes, give us an awesome question. Thank you, Mr. Blair. We're going to go to our trailer now. And yeah, I'm sure if you guys were tuning into GT Live tonight, it's gee, I wonder what trailer they're going to show. We got a pretty awesome trailer this morning, probably one of the trailers where people are going to remember most after E3 is over. The debut, the official trailer for Fallout 4. Pretty badass. Check it out.
But the cry.
With the world poised on the brink of war, Vault-Tec is reporting a record number.
But we.
Folks, it seems we've got some breaking news. Stand by.
It's all over. No, I'm trying to forget about how much I care for you.
We seem to have lost contact with our affiliate stations. Stand by. We do have coming in confirmed reports of nuclear detonations. My God. Our soldiers were right. War never changes.
Let's go, pal.
Oh, yeah. You have a dog, and you go through the apocalypse. What more do you want?
What could go wrong?
You know, I played Fallout 4 a little. I played Fallout 3 a little bit. I didn't finish it, but that's just a good trailer just gets me all fired up, and that's like a cool announcement. That we're gonna find out more from Fallout 4 on a week from Sunday. Bethesda's gonna have the first press conference of E3. You get excited for E3, America?
Yeah.
Is that a fun time of year for you?
E3 is really fun. E3 is really fun.
Have you ever worked E3, or did they ever bring you on to do stuff?
I've done made appearances at booths for the various games they have worked on.
Oh, cool.
But E3 is like Christmas for me because I get to walk up to booths and be like, I worked on that. And they're like, oh, and they give me stuff. So I love E3 for that reason. It's all the presents. But also it's just amazing to see the technology that people are coming up with. And it's so lush. Like they just go all out with all their booths. And yeah, I love E3.
They didn't for a couple years.
Yeah.
They toned it down for E3, and then they learned their lesson.
Yeah.
You don't like E3, do you, Amanda?
Well, no, I like
Because
it.
I turn into a monster every year.
No, I mean, I just, if you were a monster, you'd be a ghost. Like, I just don't see you.
It's true.
But it doesn't mean I don't like E3. I'm fully in support of E3.
She hates E3. Ben Moore, while we were watching the Fallout 4 trailer, brought to my attention that he is attempting a Splatoon speedrun right now.
Yep.
Again, he's got his little Mac hood up. He's determined. He's hunched forward.
She's extremely.
Blood, are you playing at all, or are you just
No.
chilling
This
and
is-
chatting it
that
up?
idea went out the window. Ben
This is a speed run.
Ben is focused in. He
So
is
you are-
not talking. He is
With
not
the second
smiling.
boss.
He's just going at it like this is a mission.
So you are doing the campaign specifically, which you have already
Yeah.
finished, right? Because
Yeah.
you reviewed the game.
Yeah.
So does it help going through? Are you able to like pick up cues? And...
Oh yeah. I would not be doing this if I hadn't finished it already. Like that is making this possible.
You got a cool boss fight here. I don't know if I've seen
the
some
boss
of this
fights are
footage. It's pretty
amazing.
fun.
I didn't realize the game looked like candy.
Oh, it's so fun.
It's extremely colorful. You're a squid person who
Inkling.
makes everything messy. It's like, what more do you want? Look at that. And you
Oh,
can
it's
like
great.
platform around. And you can
Oh,
like
it's
hide
great.
around in the ink while you splat it and stuff.
So you're a squid person, and that's your ink that you're splatting?
Yeah.
You
and
can
so
travel through it?
So when you're playing multiplayer, they give you a specific color, and then you have to paint the whole area with the color, and then whoever gets the more surface area
Are
at the
you
end of the
under
match.
the water?
Nope. You're just
You're just a squid person.
a squid person.
Okay.
Doing your little squid person
Doing
thing.
your squid person thing with your colorful squid ink.
Hashtag squid person. So
Squid hype.
So we're gonna do exactly. So I'm gonna do a quick editorial piece, and then we're gonna get to the Q&A at the end of the
Hashtag blessed.
at the end of the episode. Are you guys prepped for questions? Are you ready?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
America for
yeah,
questions.
yeah.
How are the questions so far? Kyle, you got some good ones ready?
Outstanding.
So really quick,
Outstanding.
so I just want to talk about, you guys, as I mentioned, you guys have done a little bit of everything. You guys have done theater, you guys have done film and television and animation and voiceover. And you guys have done a lot of stuff. I guess I was inspired mostly by you having to do choreography and having to have like stuff all over you and be like, here, this is an AK-47. You're like, okay. How is that? Is that difficult, like kind of getting past those obstructions and really getting into character? Like, do you try to be professional when you're on a job, or do you get to a point where you really get to have fun? And does that make your work better?
It's almost always fun. I've always been somebody who's lived in my head anyway. I've always just read tons of books, and I've always so for me it's kind of my everyday world. I mean, you should see me at my house. Like it's all in my head. So for me, it's always fun, and the people I'm working with is always fun. I can't think of a set in which I was miserable because of the people, I can think of sets that were more fun than others just because the people brought that to it, but you're playing make-believe, and in this scene you're an old lady, and in this scene you're like making out with Conan the Barbarian, and in this scene, like nothing you're doing is serious, really, so you're professional because you show up, you do your job, you try to do it as well and as quickly as possible, but you have to have fun because that's where all the best stuff comes from, is from the experimenting and the playfulness.
Do you have fun? Is there ever a place? I mean, I know you have fun. You have fun in everything. But is there ever a place where you felt obstructed, where you felt like I can't really get into character? You don't have to specifically mention projects you're working on, but
No.
awesome. These
no,
are the wonderful conversations we have back at home.
I'm trying. Hey, good question. Let me play some Hearthstone.
Yeah.
No, I can't think of any. Because ultimately, when you get an acting job, you've won like the best job ever. Like it's like winning the lottery every time. You're just like, oh my gosh, I get to play pretend for my living right now, and I can't think of the bad times because they're mostly good. Because usually you're working with other actors that are also like, yay, and we're all like excited to play pretend together and. Yeah.
There's sometimes where you have like a director who you guys don't seem to speak the same language, and that gets a little frustrating at times. Like because you want to be able to give them what they're looking for, but you not understanding, and then that sometimes gets a little frustrating.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
Can you think of like the weirdest direction you've ever been given? I actually got "Could you be more purple" once, and I to this day have no idea what that means.
What was the role?
You need to be less purple actually right now, Ben. Right? Purple's bad, right?
Bad, yeah.
Less purple. Okay, let me work on that. It was a comedy thing. It was like for a joke thing, and he's like, I just need you to be. Could you just be less purple? And I was like,
Did he mean like less blue?
Maybe, because that would have made sense to me.
Yeah.
But he said specifically purple.
Were you playing blue?
No.
What adjustment did you make?
I did it exactly the same way.
And he was like, oh, perfect. Let's keep it.
He was like, great, thanks.
So I went to film school, and one of the unnecessary side effects of going to film school what's that? Film school
I
face?
went to film school.
We
all went to film
When I go see movies, it's really hard for me to separate myself and really enjoy a performance because I'm constantly wondering, like, God, I wonder how they did that, or like, oh, that was a cool stunt. And you actually just brought up something that's incredible when we were watching the Fallout 4 trailer, which is that you were the female Jedi in the Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars: The Old Republic, the MMO. CG trailers that came out before launch.
Yep, I did a couple
she's
of trailers.
diving and flipping and doing forced pushes and all that stuff. That was you. That's
that was
crazy.
me. It was my face and everything.
That's
because,
amazing.
Yeah.
I love your work, America.
Oh, thanks so much.
But I have to wonder, so if you've done all this mocap and combat and stuff, when you see animated films, does it take a little bit of the steam out for you because you kind of know how it's done, or do you find yourself being distracted wondering who worked on it or what they had to do?
I sometimes wonder who it is, but most of the time I'm usually just impressed. You know, when that trailer, there was a couple of specifically flippy things that they had somebody else do because I wasn't there for the wire work stuff. Not all of it, but when I watch that stuff, like I'm usually in awe. I'm usually like, oh man, how did they do that? Why didn't you know? I'm usually impressed. Sometimes I watch it and I'm like, oh, I wonder why they did that.
What do you mean? You see bad mocap sometimes?
Sometimes.
Like, what's an example?
Sometimes. Where you see people do like, I mean, we're past this now. You know what I mean? Like when
like a stance, like I'm standing still and I'm doing this.
Yeah, they're doing the breathing thing. We're kind of past that now. We've evolved past that, like in mocap. So when you're watching like a modern game and someone's doing that, you're like, why are they still doing that?
So wait, so I don't know this because I've not done any mocap. So people used to actually make the motion.
Yeah.
I thought they just added that.
No, because especially when they started doing mocap, the sensors were insensitive, and so if you don't move at all, it seems like the character comes across as flat and dead. And so they'd always have them like, we still kind of breathe heavy, so you can pick that up, but like they would do actually like bigger motions so that the character would still seem like antsy or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
And some of it's also the character resetting its loop. You know, you'll see a jolt for that, but they don't do that anymore. The animation is so unbelievably incredible that you don't see the resetting of the loop anymore. But that's one of the examples where I'm like, really?
Do you ever see a lame punch where you're just like, they thrown that one in?
Yeah.
Really, you do?
I do.
You can like sniff out a bad punch?
Really bad. But I will say, the good thing about doing mocap and animation is the animators clean up a lot of your mistakes. The animators will take whatever performance you take and make it so much better. So there's a lot of times where I'll watch something that I've done and I'm like, I'm fucking awesome. I didn't know I could do that. Oh wait, I couldn't. I didn't know I jumped that high. Oh, I didn't. They just made me jump that high. So a lot of the time, especially nowadays in animation, they clean up a lot of the bad stuff.
Can you show Kyle what a good punch is? Just so he knows.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. Well, that wasn't awful.
Okay, so this would be like,
Yeah, see, that's not awful.
okay.
Yeah, a lot of people thought people will break their wrist or they won't have their like fingers tucked in, and you were nice and straight, so it was good. Yeah, you don't necessarily need to do that thing at the end, but
You've reached the next level.
Feel pretty good about my punch. Gotta say, feel pretty good about that.
We have reached the next level of GT Live. It is Q&A time.
Sure.
That's why Kyle Bosman has joined us now, and hopefully we got some good questions.
We do have a lot of good questions. I'm gonna start with like the serious one.
Oh.
Well, not
Everybody
serious
get-
like that.
Everybody
No,
get
no.
serious.
Okay.
I think we should idle animation before the show. I think when it says like GT Live will be on in 15 minutes, we should all.
you should totally do that.
This is from Ianella. What tips do you have for aspiring voice actors to make the transition from amateur to professional?
Well, I guess voice acting is like any other acting, which means you need to get a lot of experience acting. You need to take classes, do plays, do whatever kind of acting you can to learn the craft. And then I would just get a microphone and record a lot, watch a lot of cartoons, listen to other people and copy them and do your own versions. And eventually, through practice, you will have those breakthroughs.
I think that's excellent advice. The only thing I would say just to add to that is it's cool that we live in a time when you don't actually have to work on the shows to make a demo reel. So when you're doing on-camera stuff, you need to have actually content that you've done. But for voiceover, you can do all of that in your closet. So if you watch the shows and you listen to the commercials and you say, oh, that's my voice. Like, you have to know what your voice is. I know that I would never sell a Lexus. I would maybe sell a Kia because I sound like I'm 15 years old. So you just have to know what your voice is and what your range is and cartoon-wise practice and come up with your characters. And then around that, with sound effects from the internet and music from the internet, if you go to, is it voicebank.net?
Yeah, go to voicebank.net.
That's where all the demo reels are of all the best voiceover artists in, Los Angeles.
Yeah,
Is
in
it New York
I think in
also?
the country.
And
Yeah.
start listening to demo reels and see what they do, and then it's pretty easy to fabricate your own, and then that'll definitely help you in terms of getting representation in other jobs.
What makes a good one? You're at Voice Bank and you're like, oh, this is a good one. What makes it good?
You can really tell.
Yeah.
I mean, they stand out, but they're fast-paced, they're fun, there's a variety of them. The voices that they've chosen to do are super, very strong, but you only usually need one line per voice for people to get the idea.
I found my favorite is less like, oh, I'm going to take 2 sentences and I'm really going to give you a broad range of this one character. It's like, find the best thing of that character, that one thing that the character says.
Yeah.
Like, you would do one, and it would literally just be like a yeehaw or something, but it's like, oh, that's it. I literally need those 2 words. I totally get that character. It's cool. You can
and then
make
you
that
just
happen.
move on to
And
the
then you
next
just
one,
move
and
on,
that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, I like the demos too that are they're like little stories where they'll have the characters all sort of telling a little like 1-minute story together, and they kind of roll into each other. I want to say I think Bob Bergen might have a demo like that, but there are quite a few voice actors that'll do that, and that's really fun to hear. Actually, speaking of Bob Bergen, if you want to just like have a master class, just go to his website, Google him. He's Porky Pig.
Oh, I was going to ask Kyle.
And
I was not
just
gonna know.
Google him, start at his website, and then D. Bradley Baker's
Yeah,
website.
he's unbelievable.
Go to his website, read everything on there, because he's got a whole separate section that's tips on aspiring voice actors. So there's like every question he's ever been asked, you can go there and read it, and it's an amazing education.
And then also Yuri Lowenthal and Tara Platt have a
yeah.
book on how to become a voiceover actor.
Yeah.
And it's
Cool.
a pretty great
It's
comprehensive
called
book.
Voiceover Voice Actor.
I don't actually
or
remember
Voice
what
Actor
it is.
Voiceover.
Yuri Lowenthal is Ben 10 and among other things, and then Tara Platt actually I think was Wonder Woman.
Oh.
The voice of Wonder Woman, and she's done a ton of stuff also.
You know who Yuri is also? I just learned the other day.
What?
He's the guy in Disney Infinity. Welcome to the Toy Box.
So
This is Yuri Lowenthal.
you get a lot of Yuri.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of that guy.
He's also Mighty Number 9. I just realized this.
Ah,
He's also in Sunset Overdrive, and he works a ton.
probably could also sell Kias very well.
Yeah,
He's got
Very
like
efficient
he's
at
got a
selling his
cool
Kias.
guy voice. He's got like a cool youth voice.
yeah, he's great at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Very-
not. I feel like that's hard.
But again, they have really strong acting backgrounds, so
both of them.
so it's good to always go back to that.
This ties into another question really well, so we'll go to that. This is from Alter Chaos, because there's 2 Z's. Is there a VO actor or actress that you admire, and what did they record that inspired you? So we had talked about some very good voice actors. I want to talk about like particular performances then, where you're just like, oh, this is such a good VO performance. What is it? What do you have?
Tress McNeil,
Okay.
everything she's ever done.
Mm-hmm.
But starting with Animaniacs and then looking at Futurama, I mean, just she's incredible. She's a phenomenon.
Was there a particular moment where you said, oh my God, she's killing this?
No, because I just always like it's hard to say. No, she's just great. Like I watch cartoons and I listen to books on tape all the time as a kid, and so for me it was just such a part of my world that I was like, that's just awesome, and I want to do that someday. So I never had like that defining moment of there's the performance and that will change my life. Although I admire so many performances, and the more I do it, the more admiration I have for the things that people can do with their voice.
I'm sorry, what was her name again?
Tress McNeil.
Tress
I
McNeil.
thought you
Have
said,
you-
I'm sorry,
What-
what was
who are you?
Who are you?
I know. I was
sorry.
I was like, this is really uncomfortable.
What is this? So Tress McNeil.
What year is it?
Is the voice of Mom on Futurama. My favorite line is,
Oh.
put it in an ass, you crap. And then she slaps her 3 sons all at the same time.
Have you met her? Have you met your hero?
Yeah, but she wouldn't know.
What do you mean she wouldn't know?
We passed in the hallway. I was doing the background voices for The Simpsons, and so I was like, oh, and that was it. That's also how I met Maurice LaMarche.
Yeah, that doesn't
But
count as meeting. That
no.
doesn't.
Well, we're crossing
It's a
into the.
professional
They
engagement.
were
Breathing
coming
in
out.
the same air.
They were coming out of the booth
Yeah.
that I was going into.
And you gotta say like, I know you. You're like, let's be friends. You
Let's
know,
be
like
friends.
go in there. Good, try it.
Like, oh no, handcuffs on both of our wrists. How did that happen? I love you. No, I'm kidding about that.
Of course.
America, any idols in the VO world?
I didn't realize until kind of later in my life that, I don't know why I didn't make the connection, that voiceover, there were people on the other end. My imagination is so vividly strong that I would watch cartoons and believe them to be real.
Those are the good old days.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but when I decided I wanted to do voiceover, I started doing what Amanda suggested and watching a bunch of cartoons and trying to figure out which voices I liked the most and which ones I thought I could emulate the most. And it always came down to the same person, Debbie Derryberry.
Oh,
She's amazing, right?
she's amazing.
And so it was always her voice that I was trying to emulate. So,
She's from the Genius.
yeah.
Oh,
It just on my
it
head.
is right there.
Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah,
Yes,
Jimmy Neutron. She's
Boy
Jimmy
Genius.
Neutron.
Oh, okay.
Boy Genius.
Yeah.
And she's done a ton of other stuff, but every step of the way when I was trying to learn a voice, I'd be like, oh, that's a good voice. I think maybe I could try that voice. It was always her.
So you do Jimmy Neutron, is what you're saying?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. But I mean, you have a version of that.
Yeah, I have my boy voice.
What is your
Like,
boy voice?
Well, he's just a little scratchier, and he likes to talk about dinosaurs and like Grimlock from the Transformers, because he's like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, but he's also like, a Transformer.
Yeah, that sounds like a little boy to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
The number of small boys that are been voiced by older women is astonishing.
Yeah.
Like, it would
It's
it
like
would
all
shock
of
and
them. All
terrify
of
you.
them.
It would probably shock and terrify the actual boys who are being
Basically,
voiced
using
over
them
by
as
girls.
basically
Wow.
they're voiced by women until they turn 11, and then they're voiced by Yuri until they turn 20.
Yeah.
Right.
All of them by Yuri.
Ian, you had something you wanted to contribute?
It's jam a bastard in it, you crap.
Jam a bastard in it, you crap.
That's what
Thank
you were waiting for this whole time. Was just
It's
like
an
I really.
important
This
No,
is
it
correct
is.
word.
It is a very
Futurama is
important
my
line.
I mean,
bread
it's his
butter,
favorite
yeah.
line, so it's
Jam
good.
a
Yeah.
bastard in it, you crap.
Jam a bastard in it, you crap. And then she slaps all three.
Thanks, Ian.
Oh, thanks, Ian.
Didn't have to go to the internet for that one. I'm sure it's in the comments somewhere. You call yourself a Futurama fan. All right, more questions.
More questions. All right, here. This is from Divinity. DV.
Oh, hi, Divinity.
Yeah, that's Divinity. What's the most annoying character you had to VO that made you think, I don't think I want this job? Has there ever been a time where you're just like, oh, this character is annoying?
I do like annoying as an adjective.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I wouldn't say this was annoying, but as far as the most like vocally strenuous work I ever did, Crackdown 2 was really, really hard. They call it blood throat when you have to scream for a lot of time. And I definitely experienced that where I was like, my voice was down for about a week afterwards. And I thought, oh man, that's really hard. I need to like assess that, I need to get better at screaming, or I need to be more careful in the session, or something. But no, I would do that work anytime. You know what I mean? Like I would never not do it.
So you had to dial all day?
It was still really fun. So I am one of these like what do you call it? NPCs, non-playable characters.
Yeah.
But I'm running around and you're fighting me. I'm all over the place. I'm all these like rogue females in the game, and because we're running around this city environment, I'm always like 20 yards away. So I'm always elevating my voice to yell across the distance. So even with my normal speech, it had to be elevated. So the whole day was me like, hey, over there, I'm gonna blow you up, and so it was a lot of that, and that's really hard if you're doing it for 4 hours
Yeah,
straight.
all the military games, you're usually screaming at the top of your lungs for a while, and that gets. I mean, it's a blood throat. Is that what they
It's
call
like
it?
blood throat.
You can't talk for days because you're like, go, cover, I got you, blah blah blah. You know, like, and you're yelling all this stuff at the top of your lungs for a long period of time, and then it's not just yelling. Then they're like, all right, now do it again, but do it Russian. Or with a Russian accent. Russian lesbian, actually, was the direction I got one. So then you're going through, you're yelling it all over again, but
Less
now
Russian, more lesbian.
And a little less purple.
And then you have to go through it again and do it with all your vocal registers. So there's not one left in which you can actually speak afterwards. In terms of annoying, there was one audition. I don't know what it was for, because usually when they send it to you, there's NDAs and they don't usually tell you all the information. But the character itself was just so insulting, I mean, it was just this, oh no, please don't hurt me, I'm just a girl. I think she actually said at one point, I'm just a girl.
Oh man.
And I was like, oh, I hope I don't get this. I mean, I'll do it because I need the money, but that kind of sets us back a little, you know?
Yeah.
There's a couple of those that you'll get for some of the more archaic video games.
Yeah. Or sometimes you'll see a script and you're like, oh, they think they're being cutting edge like South Park.
Oh yeah.
But they're actually just being really gross.
Yeah.
But
they're not being like smart with their raunchiness. It's
Right.
just
Yeah.
yeah.
I like that we've had lots of voice actors here on GT Live, and all of them come on and they say, you know, I love my job. The stuff I get to do is so fun. If you book something, that alone is fun, you know, and you should really enjoy it. And all the questions are like, when was it not fun?
Right.
That's why, you know.
Yeah, you talked about all those things you like. What didn't you
But
like?
the thing is, it's like, it's hardly ever not fun. That's why so many people want to do it, because
Right.
it's so satisfying when you get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a job I did mocap for. It was a really, really bad game. I don't know if it's bad. It just didn't seem like it was good. But like, I'd be reading the script and it'd be like, I was the only female doing all the female mocap, and then it'd be like, the lead guy has an orgy with 4 women, and I'd be like, oh, how are we doing that, guys? And they're like, oh, we already captured the orgy.
That was the first thing we did.
That was the first thing. We did multiple takes on the orgy. So the game was called Ride to Hell. I don't know if anyone's ever played it. If you've played it, please let me know.
What was the game, sorry?
Ride to Hell.
Oh yeah, that's a bad one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they had captured some of it in Germany or something, and then they came over and did the rest of it. And I actually ended up doing something like 12 voices on the game, and I'm not that good. Like, I am not good to be able to play 12 different female voices between the ages of 21 and 22 and not sound the same. So I'm pretty sure every single girl sounded like this. I might have made this one Southern and this one English and this one French, but they all sounded exactly like the same.
I gotta play that game now. I gotta watch the old Republic trailers again. Like, there's so many things I gotta catch up on now that I know.
But if you guys have played it, please let me know. I'm dying to know what the orgy scene.
They must have done that part in Germany. It was like, we did the orgy in Germany.
Yeah.
That's so
we have
funny.
already done the orgy.
It was good.
We did not send you an invitation.
Because I was worried technically how that was going to happen, because it's like 4 girls. It's just played by me. Like, that was going to be.
They're spread out. I mean, that was why Brandon.
Aren't there
No,
supposed
they
to
were
be
all
motion
together.
capture cameras for this
They were
session?
all
Like-
having a
It was
conversation.
Yeah, they're
together.
invisible.
It was
They're
one
built
guy
into
having
the
an orgy
wall.
with 4 women.
And you were all the women.
I was all the women.
in the orgy.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of dialogue did you have?
Well, I was more about the motion capture aspect of it, because there's only so much physical space that you can. You know what I mean?
But they already. Wait, I'm confused.
They already captured
They already
it.
did.
They already
so
captured
you didn't
it.
have to do.
No.
Did you voice the orgy
Yeah.
actresses?
Maybe.
Oh, cool.
I plead the fifth.
And all I'm asking is like, what kind of dialogue there was.
Right.
We want details about this orgy, damn it. I want to keep talking about it. We should probably get more questions.
Okay, we got another question. This is from Nightmare 504. Are there any characters you wished you had the chance to voice?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonder Woman.
Oh, I would like to be Harley Quinn.
Yeah. Oh, you'd be a good Harley Quinn.
I would really like to do that.
Yeah.
And I've auditioned for it a few times, and I keep hoping like maybe this time they'll pick me, but not yet.
I'd love to be Wonder Woman. I don't think I could ever pull off Wonder Woman, not with my register of voice, but I would love to play.
I've heard you do
Yeah.
commanding. Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe. Thanks.
Yeah. Let's do
I'll
it.
hire you as Harley Quinn
Let's
if you
just-
hire me as Wonder Woman.
Okay.
Deal.
Let's do it. Done.
What if you got in a fight? Like, they would be adversaries.
Wouldn't
you
they?
know?
Yeah,
Like,
they
they're
would.
in the same universe.
Yeah,
you guys could beat the
absolutely.
crap out of each other. That'd be
Have
pretty
they
cool.
ever? You know, I
'Cause
just
that would be super sweet.
I just read a book where Wonder Woman teams up with Harlequin.
Whoa.
Whoa, crazy.
Yeah,
I'm
it was
sure
a-
that, yeah.
It was actually pretty cool.
We should make that into a little movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
You heard it here first, kids. Okay, one more question. We'll wrap up the
Inspired
show.
by Nightmare 504.
Thank you, Nightmare 504.
A lot of these questions are funny. You kind of naturally answered them.
If you don't have any more questions, that's fine, Kyle. Just tell me.
No, I got more questions. We got
And they
so
can
many
always tweet
questions.
at us afterwards.
America, you might not want me to mention this, but I was just thinking of your very first video game job as Laura Croft.
Oh yeah.
She used
Wait,
to do
whoa.
the Laura Croft stunt show.
Yeah.
What is that?
It was it was a touring stunt show at the theme parks to for the second Laura Croft movie, Tomb Raider movie. So
And it's like the Batman ones where it's just like you really have to like gesture a lot and like because it's the VO over the speakers.
yeah, well, usually in the Batman ones you're lip syncing because I did
Yeah.
that show also.
Yeah.
But this one they actually had us all saying the lines, and so it was more
Oh,
like
cool.
it was more like a stage show than it
Yeah.
was like a stunt show. But like you enter in on like a slide for life and rappelled in, and I had prosthetics because it's Laura Croft.
Yeah.
But they were so big I couldn't see my feet. We had choreographed all the fights, right? And then they threw the boobs on, and I was like, what am I doing? How am I? But it was an incredible thing because I had always been a fan of hers, and I had always expected kind of the guys to come up and be excited about it. But the thing that was the coolest part was all the little girls who would come up and just look at you like you were here. I mean, that felt awesome. But that was actually my first stunt job ever, as I got hired on that because I could fight from training, and then they taught me all my other stunt stuff that I learned, and then just built on from there.
What is all the other stunt stuff?
Well, that they taught me is they taught me the slide for life, the air ram. Do you know what that is?
I don't know what the slide for life is even.
Slide for life is you're on it's like a zip line.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you the rappelling in. I learned that an air ram is basically like a human catapult. You step on it and it sends you flying. I learned high
Cool.
falls. I learned all my firearm experience came from starting.
Do you have to
there.
yell air ram when it launches you in?
No, but that would be fun.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
I would. Just like making noises when I swung a lightsaber. Like it'd be hard for me not to do that.
I do that still when I fight. I still make kapow, wham, like, because it helps, like, the impacts and the intentions of everything. And I've definitely had sound guys be like, "Hey, America, you're mic'd."
Well,
Don't do that.
Ewan McGregor infamously, when he started doing lightsaber combat, was like, vroom, vroom, vroom.
Of
They were like,
course.
you can't do
You
that.
can't not.
That's fun. It's amusing for like a take or two, but you really stop. One more question, then we will wrap up the show. Make it good, Kyle.
So this is so weird because like some of these, like this one is like, have you ever had a moment where you felt like you were doing a sad or offensive scene? And we kind of answered that. And like, have you ever done male characters? And we did answer that.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, I got a way we can wrap things up, Kyle.
Sure.
Chat's letting me know, and I was like, oh yeah, that's the thing that we didn't do last time. But I thought of a reason why we should bring it up.
What?
Because you know who America Young has worked with extensively?
Who?
Stanley.
Whoa.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
What do you mean extensively?
So what have you worked on a show? Several
Yeah,
episodes, right?
I work. Well, he's got Stanley's World of Heroes, which is his YouTube channel, and for a year I did a weekly, sometimes bi-weekly show, a web series where we would talk about comic books and video games and anything pop culture that had happened that week. And so that was through his show, or was through his channel.
Cool.
Yeah.
Because on Kyle's show that he does every week, we had a competition for which
yeah?
out of the two of us could sound the most like Stan Lee.
A Stan Lee off, if you
Yeah,
will.
we had a Stan Lee
Yeah.
off.
Yes.
And we had voice actors on the show before, and when the show was done, I was like, oh, let me just check in the comments, and everyone was like, oh my God, you and Kyle were on stage, you got to do Stan Lee live. So she's met and worked with Stan Lee extensively, Kyle. You want to give her a little?
Maybe what America says
give her a
is
little?
law. Like she could judge.
I think so. So this is it.
Okay, so we're doing a Stan
No
Lee off?
pressure.
We're
No
doing
pressure
a live
at all.
Stan Lee off.
What script are we reading?
What should we say as
Well,
Stan Lee?
Excelsior is kind of the obvious one, but I feel like you have to say something a little bit more. Maybe it doesn't have to be the same thing. Maybe you guys can each talk about why you created a character or how you created one of your
Oh, so there's
characters.
improv involved too.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Because there's answers that he's said multiple times. Like if you obviously if you've seen him talk where he says,
Yeah. Okay. Whew. All right.
"Oh, good."
Oh,
Here we go.
he's getting up.
Stanley
This
off.
is
Here we
really.
go. Is this what you do in voice acting? Do you always like get your knees on the chair? Is this like a good tip? Okay.
Yeah, it's really good to not be steady and so you can swirl around.
They love it when you make lots of noise in the booth and stomp.
Italian acting to be
just like-
ungrounded.
Hit the mic a lot if you can.
Yeah, and pop those beats.
Yeah.
Okay. So Brandon, could you pose the question to Stan Lee?
Okay.
You have to give me the character that
Okay.
I create. Like, ask me which character I created.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Lee, thank you. First of all, thank you for speaking with me. It's an honor. So tell me, which of the Fantastic Four is your favorite character?
Excelsior. Hold on, I have to get the voice. Okay. Definitely the Human Torch, who's Johnny Blaze. Is that his name? I don't remember his name. Here's what I remember. I told Jack Kirby, I said, give me a Burning Man. And he said, the guy's all on fire? And I said, yes, give me that. And so he handed me a picture of a Burning Man, and I said, Jack, not literally. Give me, he's got to be able to fly. It says, flame on. And that is how I created Johnny Torch, the Human Torch, of my favorite character of the Fantastic Four. Mr. Lee, great to meet you. It's very nice to meet you. I was wondering how you created the Incredible Hulk.
Well, sometimes I just get really angry, and I think, what if I was to get angry and then all of a sudden I have no pants on, my pants come flying off, and then I'm green all of a sudden, and I just want to run around and I want to pound on things and I want to smash.
And so then what happened? What?
And so I created the Hulk.
Okay.
In one of those fits of rage.
The Stanley off, complete. Unless you two would like to compete in the Stanley off?
Well, no.
That was actually a good start. Can
Yeah,
we do
it
it?
was a
Are
really
you
good
down to
start.
Yeah,
start?
I'll do it.
Okay,
I'll do it.
so tell us how you created Spider-Man.
Well, it's an interesting story. First, what I did was I looked at a spider, and I thought, that has a lot of legs. If I could take off 4 legs, it would be a man. A Spider-Man. Excelsior.
Oh, she just took the title!
Yeah, I think we lost
She took her title!
Right, she swept it.
We're done. Yeah,
She
look at
swept
this.
it.
Yeah, she won. Holy, yeah. Oh my God,
Yeah.
she won.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You won.
Great. Thanks.
There's no
Thanks,
doubt.
honey. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you for coming on GT Live and upstaging. I really appreciate that.
Oh, that was very good.
I have a friend actually that's
Yeah.
so nerdy about Spider-Man. It was my old roommate.
How
He brought it-
nerdy is he?
That he's like, did you ever notice this? That when Spider-Man's webbing, he does this.
Yeah.
This is his position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was
Whenever you
just
see him
pushing,
posed.
I thought he was just pushing the
Yeah, I
button.
thought
Well,
there
yeah,
was like
yeah.
a gland thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's always in that pose, and he has 8 appendages, I
don't
guess,
know,
if you're like a super nerd about it.
I feel like Spidey, like this is I love you, you know? Like Spidey's, he pulls it in a little closer. He'll be like this.
Right, but it's just that the 3 fingers are stuck out.
No, I think your roommate's weird, man.
He's weird. I'm not going to argue
Is he
that.
reaching?
Wait, I think
has
I'm
that
Brandon's
been, has that been validated? in
No,
the-
he's definitely reaching.
Okay.
I was digging deep. It's the end of the show, you know?
It's the end of the
It's
show.
Straight down
It's
to the
like,
bottom of the barrel. I got this weird Spider-Man reference. I don't know. Kyle can do.
I just think that
you know,
it's probably, like, technically, if you're going to break it down, it's probably a bad idea to do this when you're about to grab onto anything.
Yeah, because there's just
It's
extra
Right.
It's-
motion.
yeah, I would probably just simplify it a
Or
bit.
something where you could squeeze it with like,
Your
the pads
elbows.
of your. your elbows. Oh, you might kind of want the arms extended as well. So
Maybe just mind control.
yeah, your mouth.
I would use I would like have little switches in my armpits.
Yeah.
And so it would be like just that
Yeah.
tiny adjustment would do it, I think.
Well, if you think about how prosthetic, like, limbs work now, where they read your brain signals, like you know, you
Yeah.
could just do that with your suit. Done.
That's true.
They're rebooting Spider-Man right now. You know, this could all go
It's
into
gold.
play in the
It's
next
gold.
film.
Yeah, no, I mean, geeks across the world would scream out in anguish if they changed anything. You can't.
It's the third time around. They got to change
Using
it.
prosthetic arm technology? Yeah, that would be.
No, I feel like
outrage.
there would be such a rage.
He
across-
clenches his butt cheeks.
They'd still
When
go
it
to the
comes out.
movie. It doesn't matter, but they'd be angry about it.
Well.
That's how I am. I'm so angry. I'm still gonna go. I'm so angry.
We'll all probably see Spider-Man no matter what they do. So we're going to wrap up the show. Thank you, Kyle,
Sure.
for getting in the questions. Is that okay? Can I wrap up the show? You're
Yeah.
offended,
Oh,
right?
please wrap it up.
All
We're
right.
we're over time.
But before we always go a little bit over
Okay,
time. And you
absolutely.
guys are worth it. You're worth it
Thanks.
for overtime. And thank you for sticking around over time. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
no problem.
Really quick, we just want to talk about all the awesome things we're doing this week on Game Trailers. As we talked about, this week is the top 10 Konami franchises. You can see that on Friday. Mr. Michael Huber just did a preview of Tembo, the Badass Elephant. Which, yeah, there you go. That's all you need to know about Tembo right there. I mean, it's one thing if you put badass in the title of your game, you're like, okay, he's a badass elephant, and that's
He's an elephant?
He's a badass elephant. But yeah, he's a badass elephant. I mean, I don't know how else to describe him.
Does that mean he wears leather? Like, what is that? What
He's
is
a
it?
commando.
Okay.
He just runs around and shoots stuff and crashes
Out
into
of his
stuff.
trunk?
And,
He never shoots stuff, actually.
Doesn't he get things like attached to him and stuff?
Maybe
No?
later on.
Yeah, maybe.
He definitely
We just
puts
played the
out
first
he
two
puts out
levels.
fires with his tusk. His,
Okay.
He
his
rescues people.
That
So there's
makes
people like
sense.
hanging on to him. as he's,
Yeah,
like,
that
running
makes
through.
sense. Okay.
Preview of that now available on GameTrailers.com and on our YouTube channel. You can check out the games of June because it's the beginning of June. You can check out our at the end of every month we do a preview of the games that you can check out in the next month. We today just started. I don't know if it's up yet, but it'll be going up today. We started our countdown to E3. We're doing 10 videos. Thank you very much. 10 videos focusing on the 10 big names that are coming to the Electronic Entertainment Expo in 2015. 10 big publishers and all the games that they are bringing. And we started that today. It wraps up Friday, the day before the Bethesda press conference, which you will be hosting our coverage of, and that'll kick off our big E3 coverage. A promo will be coming soon, so you can check out what's going to happen and when at Game Trailers during E3. There's tons of E3 impressions that we've put up since the last GT Live. Rock Band 4, Skylanders Superchargers, which just the embargo lifted this morning, finally. Batman Arkham Knight, which I certainly don't mind talking about. Lego Dimensions, which there's lots to talk about. Kyle, you were also on there for that. And Just Playeds on other things potentially not E3 related. Homesick, Dota 2, and Life is Strange Episode 3, which Elise Willems loves to check in on that series. And it's still going strong. I think we got 2 more episodes of Life is Strange. And apparently keeps getting better and better. I've yet to check that out. We got to finish Game of Thrones first before I check out Life is Strange.
Yeah, we're only in chapter 2, guys.
It's terrible. Why did you have to tell them? Now it's just going to blow up in chat. Chapter 2! And of course, there's all of our... you have a show, don't you, Kyle?
It's a good one next week.
Oh, yeah, your do's and don'ts.
That was this week, actually.
Okay, so do's and don'ts is this. Well, that's the one they can watch now.
Yeah, you can watch
So they
that
can
now.
Go check it out. And
But I
speaking
want to promote next week's episode.
Speaking of do's and don'ts, America's just like, what are you talking about? Mr.
I
Kyle
got distracted
Bosman
by
here.
the Lego Dimensions. I think those are the best commercials ever. So
Yeah,
that's
Christopher
what
Lloyd in the last one.
Very
Yeah.
Kyle's a big
exciting.
fan of.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm looking
Kyle
forward to
hosted this 2 weeks ago, and
Oh,
he
really?
picked the Christopher Lloyd Lego Dimensions trailer as his
Yeah.
trailer of the week.
That was a good
Yeah.
trailer.
That was a
Or
good
his
trailer.
badass trailer, if you will. So your do's and don'ts was technically the first Final Bossman. It was the precursor to Final Bossman.
Yeah.
Was the do's and don'ts from E3 2 years ago?
No, it was for the
3
Sony
years
event. It was
ago?
for this. It was like the Sony's PS4 announcement.
Oh,
so
wow.
it's like 2.5 years ago.
Would be 3 years ago because it was for E3.
No, it wasn't. It was they did it in February.
Oh, okay. And then you did it again when E3 came up. Okay.
Yep.
But yeah, so you're just going back to your roots with your do's and don'ts.
Tradition. It's
So you
an
can check
E3
out
tradition.
a Final Bossman tradition. You can also check out our other shows, Ladies in the Lobby. We have a show that's just ladies talking about video games, put together by Elise Willems.
You said that kind of condescending. I gotta be
Yeah,
honest.
like that's great.
Yeah, it's great. It's good. It's it's ladies. That's how it came out. That's how it came
No,
out.
I think it's important
They're
to
ladies.
have. Right. No, I think it's an interesting discussion that we could have another time. But just about.
We should
just
have it
about,
now.
Like,
We
the
should hash this out
assumption-
now.
Just about the
solve
assumption
it
that
all
because
right
we're
now.
ladies, that we would be more interested in that show than in the
Not
do's
watching
and
it,
don'ts
but knowing
show.
it exists.
Knowing it exists.
Yeah, I wouldn't
that's
expect
nice.
you guys to watch it.
'Cause if you give it-
I would appreciate it if you watch
Brandon,
it, but I
dig
would
up.
not expect it.
Dig up.
Yeah?
But we want to watch it.
It's nice that they have a voice. So there's a
Yeah.
platform for them to have a voice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is great that that's happening and that's on the site and that you guys are supporting it.
I wouldn't expect anyone to watch anything I told them about anything. That was
Okay,
not. I would not expect a woman to
I
watch
just-
our show about women. It's just, if I told someone, "Hey, we do a show," I wouldn't then, because you think about it. No, but you think about. Okay, this has nothing to do with the sexes, but you think about being involved in anything, any creative project, and you tell someone. And you get that attitude from them telling you that they're like, wow, they really, really want me to see this. It's not just kind of a friendly, like, oh, I was in this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
You should
feels
check it out.
uncomfortable. It puts
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
We do this
Okay.
thing.
Oh, yeah.
Check it out if you get a chance,
No,
or not.
I'm not
It's no big deal.
calling,
Pressuring
I'm
you
not
into
calling
this.
you out.
I'm
Brandon.
being clearly pressured,
He-
but I'm not
he's
pressuring
calling you
anyone
out.
else.
He's calling you out. We're not. We're
All
not.
I'm saying is
Chat's
that
calling
you
me out.
gestured to us when you said ladies, and you could have gestured to Kyle. You could have been like, ladies in the lobby, Kyle.
It wasn't just that. It was the raising tone too. It was ladies. We got a show about ladies.
Which
Can I-
is
can I end it?
awesome, though.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's just
awesome we have a
say-
show about
We also
That-
have
that-
Huber hype.
Nice.
Huber hype.
Huber High?
What kind of sending it again?
Bonus round, mandatory update, hosted by Mr. Ian Hinck. Little shout out to mandatory.
Yeah, it's gonna be an actual episode this week. I think.
Oh my
Very
goodness.
nice.
Well, now you have to do it. And tabletop adventures we shot this week. Are we doing tabletop next week? Obviously, we're not doing it the week of E3.
I don't know about
There's
that.
always
very
time
into
to roll dice.
I don't know
There's always
about
time for
that.
tabletop. Yeah, we'll see. And we did a trailer score today, which we haven't done in a while. We reviewed our badass trailer that we showed. Our badass trailer that we showed for Fallout 4, the official trailer. We scored it. D. Bloodworth was there, Mr. Kyle Bosman was there, and I was there. And we have over 20 videos that we're going to be releasing before E3. That doesn't even have to do with the actual days of E3. Up until our countdown wraps up, we have tons of more stuff to go up on the site. So please check out the continuation of our E3 coverage. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. You can follow us right here on this page that you're at on Twitch. We have 2 YouTube channels, Game Trailers and GT Reviews. And you can visit GameTrailers.com and you can check out all of the awesome stuff that you guys are doing. Thank you, Amanda Troop. Thank you, America Young.
Thank
Do you
you.
want to plug anything? We mentioned your Batman movie that you're in.
No.
What are your Twitter names?
Oh, my Twitter name. It's at Juniper45 because I made my Twitter handle when I thought you were supposed to be anonymous. I would like if chat knows how to change it, like just send me a message on the Twitter and tell me how to make it my name without losing my followers, my hard-won followers, at Juniper45.
I'm at America_Young, and I'm in post on a feature I directed.
Nice.
That's all about comic books and geeky movies. So that's called The Concessionaires Must Die, and the website for that is cmdthemovie.com.
Cool. And you do, if anybody's in Los Angeles, you do Canonaut. You do you do
No,
improv
I do have things
fantasy
to plug.
musical.
Yeah, I do have things to plug.
I always forget
I'm
when people
doing
ask me
I'm
too.
doing a medieval improv musical that's totally improvised at the Hollywood Fringe Festival, and we're performing 4 times for that. We're doing a swap gender Jane Austen performance in June as well at the Impro Lab space. This is all improv in LA. And I'm recording an audiobook right now, so if you like to listen to books in your car, you can listen to that. And there may or may not be another animated film that I may or may not be in coming out sometime in the future.
That's
Very
a good
cryptic
plug.
and wonderful.
Yeah.
And
Yet well within the realms of her NDA.
Yes.
right.
We're good.
I think we haven't broken any NDAs. I believe. Might
I'm
have come
sure
close.
we have. I'm
Yeah,
sure we
you
had
never know.
somewhere. Yeah.
And maybe next time, don't worry about chat and worry about breaking NDAs. Yeah, just there are more NDAs to be broken. So thank you very much, Ben Moore, who is still that guy's intent. I can't
How
even
far
see.
are we?
I can
How far
like
are
barely
we?
see his nose.
We made it to the last world. We're like halfway through the last world.
How long will it take you to get through the last world? I mean, should we just hang out?
Another half hour probably.
Okay,
okay.
I don't think you guys have a half hour. We should probably wrap up the show. Thank you, Daniel Bloodworth, for accompanying him on the couch.
Yeah.
Being the Chewbacca to his platoon Han Solo. And thank you, Ben Moore, for not only reviewing the game, but coming back and playing it for everyone's amusement on GT Live. And thank you all viewers at home for watching GT Live. Thank you again, lovely ladies,
Bye.
for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank
and
you.
we'll see you guys next
Fun.
week.